We are 1 week closer to the 2024 elections, which means we have yet another Donald Trump rally to look at. Now, of course, we heard much of the same from Donald Trump at this rally in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania, but because we're witnessing a public-facing meltdown, we also heard some new things as well. And I know we cover a lot of Trump rallies here, but I think it's important that people know what they're up against when they go to vote this November. So let's go ahead and kick things off with Donald Trump trying to say that Joe Biden hates Kamala Harris. Let's go ahead and check it out.
Everything. You know, when she sits and complains, hey, look, Joe Biden hates her, okay? Hates her. You don't mind if I go off teleprompter for a second, do you? Joe Biden hates her. This was an overthrow of a president. This was an overthrow. They went out. You know, I spent $100 million fighting Joe Biden. They told him he couldn't win. His debate performance wasn't the best ever. But they said mine was the best ever.
So Trump is still very upset that Joe Biden dropped out of this race in a selfless act for this country and is still whining about it at his rallies. One of these days, he might learn that he is no longer running against Joe Biden, and no matter what he says, nothing is going to change that. But I do think it's quite funny that he goes off on these tangents about Biden hating Kamala Harris when there's probably not a shred of proof that he could point to for that being the case. And we've touched on this one before, but Trump once again talked about how tariffs, they don't affect Americans. No, they just affect other countries. Let's go ahead and listen to him talk about tariffs once again.
He wants to get rid of the tariff, but he can't because there's so much money they can't do anything with the budget. A tariff is a tax on a foreign country. That's the way it is, whether you like it or not. A lot of people like to say, oh, it's a tax on us. No. It's a tax on a foreign country. It's a tax on a country that's ripping us off and stealing our jobs. And it's a tax that doesn't affect our country. And you could see hundreds of billions of dollars of tariffs on other countries also. I took in hundreds of billions, and nothing happened to us. They make less money. And you know what? Our jobs come back because there's no tax if they build their factory in Pennsylvania.
So I've said this multiple times by now, but it is absolutely sad that Donald Trump still does not understand how tariffs work. This is a simple concept that a president should probably know. But I don't know if Donald Trump is just ignorant to the facts or he's just not listening to people who have told him the truth about tariffs. He continues to lie to his audience. He continues to give them the false understanding of what a tariff is. So let's explain once again. A tariff is a tax that is placed on goods that are imported to this country. That means the company that is importing the goods needs to pay that tax. And where do you think those prices get passed down to? The American people. So when a company is tariffed for the goods that they are importing into this country, the vendors selling them here in America turn around and add that tax built in to the product cost. This is not rocket science. This should not be hard to understand. But this is Trump yet again spinning another false understanding, a false narrative for his MAGA supporters so they have yet something else to be mad at. Let's go ahead and move on to listen to Trump talk about how Dana Bash doesn't know how to pronounce her own name. I just don't understand what exactly or why exactly he talks about these things. For some reason, he thinks he's at a stand-up routine. But I don't even find this funny. Let's go ahead and take a look.
I thought it was sort of a little strange, but I had Dana Bash and I had Fake Tapper. But I have to tell you, they were very fair. I really thought they were very fair. So Jake and Dana, nobody knows how to say her first name. Is it Dana or Dana? Nobody knows. It's been going on for 20 years. She's been around a long time. Is it Dana or Dana. And now the fake news will say, Trump didn't know how to pronounce her first name. She doesn't know how to pronounce it.
Yeah, so I just don't get it. Why the crowd behind Trump was not even laughing at the punchline. So I just don't understand why he continues to do these types of things. Is this a way to pick on Dana Bash and Jake Tapper? It's not clicking in my brain. I don't find it funny. I don't find it entertaining. But we just hear crazy and weird, strange things from Donald Trump like this at like every single rally. This is probably some sort of function of his mental decline or something, because it just does not make sense in the political context like this. Let's go ahead and move on to listen to Donald Trump trying to say that he doesn't ramble. No, not Donald Trump. Donald Trump does not ramble. Let's go ahead and take a look.
California, you know, she was the district attorney and she was the attorney general of the state. I heard the other day, and this isn't anything, I'm just saying, they'll say he was rambling. I don't ramble. I'm a really smart guy, you know, really smart. I don't ramble. But the other day, anytime I hit too hard, they say he was rambling. Rambling.
So, I don't know how it goes from Kamala Harris being like the attorney general or the district attorney to him being a smart guy and not a rambler. But that's where we are. Donald Trump trying to prove that he's not a rambler by rambling about how he doesn't ramble. I think this stuff is hilarious. I think Donald Trump, just keep on doing you, man. Because if you continue to act like this, if you continue to spin up these weird things at your rallies, I think people are going to start fleeing the Trump camp. And I'm all in for all that. So let's go ahead and listen to Donald Trump scream into the mic about firing Kamala Harris. He gets really, really excited about this one.
Kamala, you are a horrible vice president. You're going to be a horrible president. We're not going to take it anymore. Kamala, you're fired. Get out of there. You're fired.
So I honestly think that this brings Donald Trump back to the good old days when he was still on The Apprentice and things were going good, and maybe he had a little bit of joy, a little bit of happiness with where he was in life. Maybe that's why he does this. But, I mean, I guess his crowd is a little bit fired up by saying, "You're fired, Kamala." I just think he looks a bit unhinged. I don't know why he does this type of thing, but, you know, whatever. He then goes on to say that he's better looking than Kamala Harris. Yeah, I'm not making this stuff up. He actually said that.
8 years. But she said one thing that got me. She said Kamala has one big advantage. She's a very beautiful woman. She's a beautiful woman. So I decided to go back and reread the clause. I'm not saying he's, but I say that I am much better looking than her. I think I'm much better. Much better. I'm a better looking person than Kamala. No, I couldn't believe it. She said, you know, I had never heard that one. They said, no, her biggest advantage is that she's a beautiful woman. I'm going, huh. I never thought of that.
So I think Donald Trump might be stuck in the 70s or 80s where he used to attach numbers that would represent somebody's attractiveness. Oh, there's a 2 over there. Oh, she's a 5. Oh, look at that 9.5. I don't know what else. I don't know how else to explain this type of behavior. He is a presidential candidate running to be the most powerful person in the world, and he's throwing childish insults at Kamala Harris. Like he's some sort of bully from the 3rd grade. I just don't get why he does this sort of thing. But I think we should be here every single time calling it out, because I do think it's weird, and I think this is where Tim Walz was right in saying that these people are weird. You are running for president, and you're trying to say that you're more attractive than your opponent. It just does not make any sense to me. He then goes on to play a word association game and brings up TiVo, you know, the TV recorder device, this was quite strange as well.
Yesterday in her speech, I think she said, I had to play it back. You know, I love the playback controls you have nowadays. They used to call it TiVo, now they have TiVo, I think it's the single greatest invention. It's better than television, because television would drive you crazy if you couldn't do a playback, right? Now I can play back. I heard the statement, and I heard that statement that she made, and I said, you know, she made a statement yesterday that from her time in office, essentially, prices have gone up by 50%, something like. I said, did she just say that? I said, that speechwriter is going to be fired. In fact, we took that section and we actually made a commercial on it, and we got the best commercial of the week, and we didn't do anything. We just played her back.
So yeah, somehow he goes from talking about a Kamala Harris ad to just playing her words back, and you can play, we have a television, and you can play back a television with the TiVo device. It's just nonsense. It's literally a word association game. And as I continue to watch more and more of these Trump rallies, the more and more I am beginning to notice it. I don't know if this is just more pronounced or more noticeable these days because he's in some sort of decline or what, but it is more noticeable. He continues to jump from topic to topic. If this word relates to that word or is loosely related to that word, then he jumps to a new topic and then back again, and it's really quite strange. I think Donald Trump is literally experiencing some sort of cognitive or mental decline. I don't know how else to explain this type of behavior. And I think there have been some experts that have said things along those same lines. So I'm doing research now for a video, and hopefully we will explore this topic a little bit more later. And of course, it wouldn't be a Trump rally unless he was talking crap about America. I hope I bring this up every single time because I think, like I said before, our presidents should be cheerleaders for our country, but not for Donald Trump. He wants to talk crap about America any chance he gets.
I said, I can't speak more. What the hell else am I going to say? Our country's going to hell. Hey, we're a nation in decline. You know, we were talking about that before. My phrases are copied so much, right? I use the term oftentimes in closing, we are a nation in decline. We are a failed nation. And I think it's a beautiful phrase, although I don't like the topic very much. I don't like what it represents, but there's a certain beauty. All of a sudden, all of these candidates, including Republicans, are saying we are a nation in decline. We are a failing nation. And I say, you know, what the hell do they have to copy me for, right? But they have a lot of words that they copy. Many of our words, we were in the plane before coming in, and our people said, we went through a list. I think we're going to release a list. Let's release it. But so many of our phrases they copy. That should be a nice thing, not an insult. But crazy Bernie Sanders has said a lot of things.
So again, I think this is another example of that word association type game that is going on in Donald Trump's head. He goes from the country's going to hell, we're a nation in decline, to, oh, those are phrases. People are copying my phrases. Back to the phrases. I just don't get it. Maybe I'm right. Maybe I'm wrong. I think it is strange. I think people look at this and think that Donald Trump is acting strange and not too normal. Hopefully that will translate to more votes for Kamala Harris this November. Because whatever we're seeing here, whether it's mental decline or pure craziness from Donald Trump, it doesn't seem good. He is running to be the most powerful person in the world, and he can't seem to string coherent thoughts from point A to point B. It normally looks more like point A to point E to point G, then B, then A, then B. That's kind of how things are strung together at a Donald Trump rally now. And it's quite something to watch. So that's going to do it for me on this one, folks. If you got anything out of this video, if you could remember to smash that like button and hit subscribe, maybe share with a friend or two, I'd very much appreciate that. If you think I got something wrong, or if you disagree with me about something, feel free to drop a comment below. And if you want to learn about Trump's connections to Project 2025, watch that video on the screen now. And I will see you guys on the next one.